All right, I got this all hooked up, set up, and so while I'm under here, I'm going to go ahead and split these, pull those in tight. That way, a bunch of junk doesn't get up in there. Same with this side. This one's not as bad, but still need to do the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and yeah. Everything's looking pretty good. I had to put a quarter power on this to get it to come back just a little bit more, so I could get these completely pulled back as far as they can go on both sides. You guys know I did the deal in here. I basically welded 1/8" steel into the frame itself. And then my other subframe will come up and weld into that. That way I have one solid frame going all the way up to the front. That's not the way DSE did theirs, but it just made sense to me to give something a little more than just, because otherwise you're welding to this 18 gauge steel or 20 gauge steel, whatever it is. And so I'm not sure, probably shouldn't say this, but you know, they sell these kits like this, all the mini tub, subframe, all that stuff, kind of stuff. Well, I was looking at DSE's channel and their workshop and some of their builds that they do. They're gusseting up a lot better than what they're selling these kits to the guys like us that just are at home and they want to have mini tubs and all the cool stuff. But if you're actually going to put this out on the track, I mean, you're going to have, it's going to be flexing and different things through here. So for me, that and a cage and everything, tying that in is going to stiffen up the chassis a bunch. And so just be aware of that. Not saying they don't work, and if you put that in and the subframe connectors and everything, but if you think about it, when the way they tell you to do it, you're just welding those big steel, these here, it's like 1/8" steel or whatever, but you're welding that straight to sheet metal. Well, where's it going to flex? Right where it's welded to the sheet metal. So I decided to take more sheet metal that same size, or sheet metal, more steel that same size, and build this in. And you can see I've already coated it up inside and everything. So, and I put weld through on the edges so I can weld that all in solid when I actually put those up in there. Yeah, so you can see there. And that's gonna suck up a little bit tighter into that. And then if I need to, I can weld some panels in there so junk doesn't get up inside there. But that's later. That's later on down the road. Probably one of the last things I'm going to do after I get the car together, before I put the subframe in. But yeah, everything's fitting pretty nice. And so I'm going to take it back apart as soon as I'm done doing this, and start prepping all of this for weld. All this stuff will have to be prepped. I put silver paint where it's going to have to be ground away. I'll probably poke a couple holes in. Maybe if that's, yeah, I'll probably put some couple of plug welds and then go ahead and stitch weld that on both sides. So try to beef this up a little bit. I'll probably stitch, around this as well, because those are your torque boxes. So everything else is looking pretty good. All this stuff is lining up. My pinholes from before, you can see there, they're still lining up. I like that. That's nice. Now I can just put those in there, zip those down. It'll pull these together tight. And then I can also use tech screws if I need to or whatever to pull it down real tight. But that's it. So I'm gonna get to cutting these and get this butted up against there good. And then I'll probably pull that apart and weld those back together so that I don't actually weld it to the floor at this point, because I don't want to do that. So, all right, see you guys. All right, there's that. And so I just cut a little V-notch in it and hammered it together. So yeah, so when I pull that back apart, I can weld this up and then grind both sides and get it, and then protect it and all that. And that'll fix that. Same with this one. It's a little flexy, so I can flex it up and suck it together, and probably straighten this edge up just a little bit, because you see how when you suck it in that way, it moved it in. But that'll keep a bunch of crap from getting up in there with that big old giant gap. Anyway, I'll have to stuff a bunch more, you know, seam sealer, so a bit less seam sealer. Anyway, that's it for now, and maybe it for today. But I've been working on it, just fine-tuning stuff, but and also trying to figure out exactly what all I need to dress back so I can start welding it. So anyway, all right, see you guys. All right, so I decided to work on the roof a little bit while I had everything like it needs to stay. And so this is fitting pretty good. All this is fitting real good. I went in and overbent this. Of course, that can be pulled down some. Let me grab something to pull that down. Here, I'll do this. Yeah, let me drop it. So here's what I'm looking at. So these come with this little, no, it's just a little, not a groove, but it's raised up area. And then as you go into the roof, it's up here. Now I've bent this to where it's almost 45 degrees, but it looks like it needs to come down another 1/4 of an inch. So I don't know if you guys run into that. But if you have, holler at me and let me know what you did about that, because that looks like it definitely needs to, well, I don't know, it needs to come down a bunch. And this is tight here, it's tight on that side. There's a little, nah, it's pretty good there. That looks pretty nice. It's good gap in the middle. This can be worked down just a tad more, but it's looking pretty good. Got this over bent. So same thing over here, as it comes down, you can see it. And then it's like almost a full deal off. Whatever that is, I don't know. Raised area. So, and it almost looks like I'd almost have to trim this area here and bend that up to match this, and suck this whole thing down even tighter than it is. Just pretty dang tight now. It looks all right. So anyway, I was just looking at that thinking, how are we gonna fix that? Because you do see that's not something you're gonna hide. So when you get it all painted, it's gonna be like, boop, not gonna look good. All right, guys, see ya.